Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you. Another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, I eat folks, sampler video series videos I've been doing for a little while now, where I go over there and try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, then folks, I'm going to talk about the stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that the time I'm doing this, folks, I bet you didn't know it, I couldn't snap my fingers until I was 18 years old. Ha! I trained myself how to do it. But anyway, folks, that aside, what am I doing? I'm clearly in the truck, as you can see. For folks who watch my videos, you know that if I'm in the truck, typically that means I was on my way to a place, I found a thing to review, especially since I'm wearing my grody work shirt. That's the case today, sort of. I'll get into it in a little bit. So, I'm going to review a thing. I have reviewed two things, specifically from, boom, well, that doesn't actually say the thing. Panera Bread. You can see a thing. I did a couple of their breakfast sandwiches. I did their sausage scrambled egg and cheese on an Asiago bagel, and I did their chipotle chicken scrambled egg and avocado on ciabatta. But those were just opportunities for me to go over there and get in some Panera reviews, because I don't go to Panera all that often. In fact, I probably wouldn't have gone to Panera anytime recently if it hadn't been for a viral situation. I recently became made aware of a whole thing on the TikToks and such. I don't follow TikTok. I don't have a TikTok. I'm not against it. I'm not for it. I'm neutral towards it. I'm too old to be fucking with another goddamn platform. Just no more. I'm good. But TikTok's obviously very popular. And because I go over there and do food reviews and stuff on this channel, Google and ads and stuff market food-related news to me. Specifically, they'd gone over there and showcased a video, TikTok video that's gone viral from a lady named Sarah, I'm going to say Baus, B-A-U-S. Sure, let's go with that. And in the video, she had gone over there and been drinking something from Panera, made a whole thing out of it. It became a viral thing. Typically, I don't go over there and respond to viral stuff. I just have my tiny little section of the YouTube universe. And I leave it at that. But I'll get into it. So what am I trying for y'all today, folks? We're doing boom! It is Panera Bread. From Panera Bread. This is one of their charged lemonades. Specifically, this is their mango yuzu citrus with caffeine and guarana. You can see it. Okay, so a little bit of a backstory, and I did watch the whole TikTok video. Took a little doing. In it, she explains that she went over there, she's been working remotely, and she spends a lot of time at Panera. She really likes these charged lemonades that they have. She knew there were caffeine in them, but she didn't realize how much caffeine. Now she's got to talk super fast, and her brain's going to explode, and her spleen's going to come out and become a new person and run off with her husband to Argentina, and there'll be a whole weird spleen relationship thing. I don't know. But she's on it, okay? She is fully on it. If it wasn't for the fact that she's going over there and talking about caffeine, you'd assume she was on some sort of meth. But that's where I come in. Because you see, folks, I'm Brandon Wenzel. And when it comes to caffeine, I know a thing or two. Never mind the fact that on this very show, this program that I've been doing, I've done I don't know how many energy drinks, Dunkin' Donut coffee related stuff. I don't really do Starbucks stuff because I don't go to Starbucks all that often. Or ever? Yeah, I'm going to go with ever. But the thing is, folks, I'm somebody, I grew up in the 90s. I was raised on soda. And mind you, I'm not advocating this. This was not a good plan. But things were a little bit different then. We weren't as health conscious as we are now. I work a third shift job. I've been a night owl my entire life. I know some shit about caffeine. So when this whole thing became a thing, I felt the need to step in and talk about it. So I'm going to go over there and do a review of the very drink that she was going over there and talking about, the mango yuzu citrus with caffeine and guarana. It has 260 milligrams of caffeine, 82 grams of sugar. Emphasize that point. First part of the review is going to be just me going over there and trying it out. Second part will be me going over there and responding to the things that Sarah went over there and brought up in her TikTok video, which I actually did look up. She actually has a presence here on YouTube. She has a YouTube channel as well. She has around a few more subscribers than me, but we're both in the 200s the time I'm doing this. And she seems to do mostly like makeup tutorials and kind of like overall life guideline, advice and stuff and everything. Seems like a really nice, positive person. So, but let's do the first part of the review. That's not bad. I can get down with that. I enjoy mango. For me is a little bit of a thing. It needs to be used appropriately. Like I did a review for Pepsi Mango some months back. In that, I specifically stated that I felt the mango was a bit abrasive. Just a bit abrasive next to the Pepsi flavor. But when it's used appropriately, when it's combined with other things, I would say they did a very good job of having the mango flavor, but without it going over there and getting to that abrasive point. For me with mango, it reaches a certain crescendo, and if it goes past that, I'm not a fan. That's officially too much mango. This doesn't reach that point. The hell else is in this? Yuzu citrus. I don't know what the hell that is. I'm just going to straight up say it. I'm not sure what that is. But as a drink, I enjoy the taste. It does have a lemonade aspect to it. It has a nice little bite at the end. Not what I would personally find to be a sufficient bite for a lemonade. I actually recently did a review of Calypso's Kiwi Lemonade. Go watch that if you're interested. That Calypso for me is damn near perfect with it. It's still sweet, still has a lot of interesting flavors going on and stuff. But then you get that nice, sourness that's reined in, so it's not, problematic. And I love that. This doesn't quite reach that point, but it's still there, and I appreciate it. Overall, as a drink, I enjoy it. I think they did a good job of blending the mango and the yuzu, what the hell ever, as well as going over there and still having it taste like a lemonade, which ultimately it needs to do. It's lemonade. So, in that regard, would I get it again? Would I go over there and recommend it to people? In that regard, maybe I'd get it again. I don't do Panera a lot. Probably about, maybe half dozen times a year, if that. It's just not a go-to spot for me. Nothing against it or anything. But if I was there, since I'm not typically a huge coffee person, yeah, I could see maybe going over there. They have two other flavors, which, yes, I am going to review them after this. I don't know where this one would stand in regards to that, but it's not a bad drink, and, overall, yeah, I can go with it. Now, whether or not I would recommend it, that's where we're going to kind of go into the second part of the review. Like I said, overall, good drink, solid mango flavor, not abrasive, decent lemonade flavor, not spectacular, but overall good. Let's go into this whole Sarahebaus situation. Like I said, I would have just left this alone, but, and I genuinely was, I was just going to do a review. But I wanted to go over there and I wanted to see what all the hubbub was about, so I watched your video, and I had to say something. So she starts off her video specifically stating that this should be illegal. This should be 100% illegal. No, it shouldn't. Let's just right out the bat. No, it shouldn't. And what she's referring to is the fact that it has such a high caffeine content, and such a high sugar content. Fair enough. Now, those are criticisms you can levy. And in her, what she's talking about, she mentions the fact that because she does use that space to work remotely and they offer free refills, I don't know if all Panera Breads do that or not. Like I said, I'm not at Panera Breads enough. She might go over there and have 4 or 5 of them. And then she feels super jacked up for the rest of the day. And she's like the Hulk, and she's just, it's like Fry, from Futurama after he goes over there and have his, was it 100 or 1,000th cup of coffee? One way or the other. Time just slows down for her. It's a whole thing. A few things stand out to me when she's doing this review. Like I said, the flat out, the notion that it should be illegal, no. Just because it has a high caffeine content and a high sugar content certainly doesn't mean that it should be illegal. Now, that said, of course it should be on display. It should be something that you can go over there and have, decent access to that information. Of course, the time I'm doing this, I'm recording this on a smartphone, and all this information is easily available right there. But maybe you're in the restaurant itself. Well, I do have to mention, it does specify under the charged lemonades, after all the ingredients, it specifically says with caffeine and guarana. Now, it doesn't specifically go over there and state the amount. So, okay, I will go over there. I will 100% give you that. I'm sure that if you went over there and went into it enough, it would go over there and tell you, but maybe it's worth Panera going over there and emphasizing that, specifically when you're going through the menu. Maybe even up on top of the board, because I did it through the little tablet that they had. So there's that. I'm willing to concede that point. But there are other things that need to be addressed. One is the way in which she goes over there and presents herself. She's super manic, like super duper hyper, and she's like, here's the thing, folks. That's less somebody who is on a caffeine binge and more what people think people feel or people come off as when they're on a caffeine binge. And don't get me wrong. Obviously, you take in enough caffeine, enough stuff like that, it can go over there, spark you up a little bit. But to use myself as a specific reference, and I will say this, everybody responds to caffeine differently. Like I said, I'm somebody, I came up with it, so my tolerance to it is probably a lot higher than certain other people. But to use a story from when I was younger, when I was about 19 years old, I worked at a bakery in a local supermarket. And one day I was closing things down. They had the Starbucks Frappuccinos, the mint ones, because it was getting close to Christmas. I love those things. I lament the fact that they're not around. I'm not talking about the peppermint mocha. I do like those, but I like the ones where they just had the straight mint. I had those, plus free coffee from our deli section, plus, God, what else? I think the Cinnabon used to have an energy drink, and I think I went over there and had some of those. I had 4, in the span of 2 hours, 4 of the Frappuccinos, at least 2 of the Cinnabon things, and probably 2 cups of coffee. Way too much caffeine, okay? I'm not trying to go over there and advocate for extreme caffeine. I'm not. But I had a lot of caffeine, folks. And I wasn't all twitchy or anything like that. Like, the most it did, and this is true, and it was when I realized to myself, whoa, I need to dial this back. When I went to go over there and start wiping down the display case, I noticed that my hand was actually shaking a little bit. And at that point, I was like, okay, again, let's dial this back. But the super, I'm not going to say that it's impossible. I think that it's either exaggerated to an extreme extent, or because, and here's the thing. She mentions this, and she brings up and she can't keep her thoughts together and all that. No, it's not like that. And to that effect, I've seen articles and stuff where people have, gone along her same opinion on this. One person mentioning, they didn't sleep for 24 hours. Unless you're somebody who's already anxious or having issues sleeping, I can promise you that didn't happen. 260 milligrams of caffeine. Okay. She ends on it, going over there and saying, "Why? Who would even do that? Who would even do that?" Monster. Let's see. Bang. Starbucks. Any energy drink, really. You can go over there and get a Starbucks triple shot. It has 300 milligrams of caffeine in it. Similar with Monster, they also have triple shot stuff. Again, 300 milligrams of caffeine. 300 milligrams of caffeine is what's considered to be your daily allotment. Okay, that's the amount of caffeine you're supposed to take in one day. Now, when you go over there and take that, okay, well, 260 is obviously a very close margin to that. Fair enough. But again, you're not going to suddenly just start bouncing off the walls. That's just not how that stuff happens. So when I see somebody doing that, and I hate to go over there and, like, I don't want to be an asshole. I don't want to go over there and call somebody out, but I kind of have to, because when you're going over there and causing potential outrage on this stuff, yeah, if you want to go over there and say, hey, you know, they should go over there and make sure that this stuff is more clearly posted, like how much caffeine is in it, I'm 100% with you. Because if I go get a triple shot or I go over there and get a Monster or something like that, one of the really high caffeine ones, I know what I'm getting into. I'm also not getting free refills. So there's that end of things too. So again, I'm willing to cede that point. But the notion that you're going to go over there, no, that's just for the sake of virality. And I mean, and hey, you know, it is what it is. It clearly did its job. But the main two reasons why I decided to respond to it. One was because it was caffeine related. And again, I feel like I'm somebody who can speak on the virtues and ills of caffeine. The other thing is that, you know, in effect, it's a food review of sorts. Kinda. And with me, obviously, doing food reviews, I try to be very positive with my food reviews. I want things to be good, not only for myself, but also for just the product itself. No, I'm not saying, I mean, you know, I've eaten a century egg and gravy candy and shit like that, which is for the internet lulz, 100%. But that said, the vast majority of what I do, I want these things to succeed. And I want to be able to go over there and give that information to people, and hopefully that's what they take away. When someone is over there and I see them going over there and taking this product and, quite frankly, just completely blowing it out of proportion, I feel the need to say something. Because, like I said, from, you know, seeing Sarah's YouTube channel and stuff like that, you know, she seems like a really positive person. She seems very talented, you know, very smart. You know, she has a lot of, you know, life goals and stuff and things that she's trying to obtain. I think that's all really, really great. That's all positivity, and I think positivity is a great thing to put out into the world. What she did on TikTok isn't positive. It's just, one, I think it's just internet fluff, and I think if it was just that, it would be fine. I would leave it alone. But again, you're doing this in regards to a product. And I'm not over here trying to go over there and vie for Panera. They're a corporation doing their thing. I don't, you know. But at the end of the day, as somebody who, great example, as somebody who worked at a gas station for 7 years, the gas station started off as a Citgo and then became a BP during the BP oil crisis. Okay, all that nonsense. I had to deal with people coming into my shop and going over there and complaining to me directly, talking about how they were going to boycott my store. Like I had anything to do with anything. I don't want that for other people, whether it's in a gas station setting or in a Panera setting. This is ridiculous. It just is. I don't buy it. I don't buy her responses to it. I don't care how your body responds to caffeine. She did try to emphasize. She's like, I'm not used to caffeine, this, that, and the other thing. Okay, then first of all, why were you going over there and buying something that clearly states that it's got caffeine and guarana in it if you're not a caffeine person? Secondly, if it's got, like, okay, she brings up, oh, well, an espresso has 64 grams. Okay, espressos, first of all, are typically smaller. Secondly, you're having a drink. I mean, I got one of the bigger sizes, but you're having a drink that's a good size, and you're going over there and you're downing 5 of them. Now, I don't know how long over the course of how much time. You're downing 5 of them. Come on now. So that really is my ultimate takeaway with this whole thing. It's not to go over there and bash Sarah or anything like that, because, like I said, I think that from what she's doing, it seems to be mostly very positive. I would just really hope that anybody who would watch her response take it with a severe grain of salt. And if you are going to go over there and go to Panera and try one of these things, just be aware. And if it's simply about awareness, then yes, I think that's great. I really do. Because I do think that you should go into any situation where you're trying something new, having a good understanding of it. Whether it's caffeine or fat content or what have you. And we're fortunate enough in the society we live in these days where that information is usually pretty available to us. Please make informed decisions, and please don't go over there and just give in to these viral craziness moments that, go over there and paint things in a very specific light. It's just, I feel like it's not, again, it takes away from the positivity of things instead of giving back to it. That's just my personal take, though. And again, it's nothing. I don't think that Sarah is a bad person or anything like that. And, so. But anyway, folks, that's going to do it for me on this one. 5 things before I get out of here, and I'm going to do this real quick. Have yourself a great rest of the day, spectacular rest of the week, monumental rest of the month, stupendous rest of your. And folks, if you go over there and have yourselves a truly wonderfully lemonade-tastic rest of your day. Final 2 things, folks. Try to bring some positivity in the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you do, folks. You try not to be an asshole. Okay? Not saying Sarah's an asshole. I'm being a little bit of an asshole for calling her out. Depends on your take. I'm not trying to be too bad about it. But try to mitigate the level of assholes in your lives. Hopefully do better for yourself and for those around you. The very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Maybe you're going to go over there, or maybe you're going to try out some of this lemonade stuff. Maybe you're going to love it. Maybe you're going to go over there and do a review of it, just as I've done here. And maybe you'll go over there and spread a little positivity around instead of going over there and kind of mucking up the internet space with more sensationalism. That's all I'm saying. Bye, folks.